Good morning, and how is everybody doing today? So I want to hop on. Obviously, we're getting very excited about turning the Hebridean Inn into a healing centre, Scotland's first ever pop-up healing centre, from the 4th of January to the 4th of March. And we're going to have some of the country's top healers and teachers there. Because it's really going to be primarily a little bit experiential in terms of you can come and stay for a week at certain points, but a lot of it's going to be education, because we know what we're looking to do. The hotel doesn't have a lift, so if you can't climb upstairs, it's not suitable. Now, I'm perfectly aware this is not the ideal place and situation for everybody, but John very kindly has offered us this place over the winter. So the land in Skye is unbelievably powerful. That's where I've had my most powerful breathwork experience, and I think the land plays a part in that. So, but what I wanted to talk to you about was what you're going to be able to experience there. And a bit of a problem why I've not really fully launched my energy business is because really you need to be able to access the technology regularly in order to start to see some level of effect. So, but I wanted just to jump on this morning and just talk about energy medicine in general. What is it? Because, I've been so fascinated by the Joe Rogan, Eric Weinstein and Terence Howard podcast. Morning, Karen. I know I'm so excited to have you there as well. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, I think if you've not watched that podcast, I highly recommend that you do. I'm going to do an actual full video on my response towards it. But I think one of the big takeaways that you get is just the ego versus the heart, and how, people perceive themselves to know better than you. And the Heal Scotland message is actually the complete opposite. Nobody really knows exactly which food is working the best for you. Only your body knows that. We have a very powerful tool, which is an intuition, which simply cannot be measured. This morning I'm looking out at this incredible view that I have here, and I'm thinking, sitting in the sea up to my neck with the sun in my face, I can tell you all the scientific benefits of the free flow of electrons, the change in chemistry. There's so many things, but you cannot measure the feeling that I get when I'm looking at the blue sky and looking at the sea. That's just immeasurable. And I think this is the biggest issue. I love Eric Weinstein. I think he's amazing to have the conversation, and he's taking some flack for it, because it's like, if you're not well educated, and this, I'm not just talking about that one podcast, but if you're not well educated, it's that your feelings, your opinions don't matter. And I think for a lot of us, certainly a lot of you guys that'll be following me, you'll understand that this information is coming from a completely different place, not an encyclopedia, not Wikipedia, certainly, not from the formal education system, which has been totally taken over by lunatics. Although that's changing too. There's a lot of amazing people in teaching. I come from a family of teachers, and every teacher I know is incredible. As is every nurse and doctor I know, incredible. But we're now looking, the scales have just been tipped because of the power struggle and the money, of course. And that's why we need to keep money out of our healthcare system. And we cannot be back in a position where, my friend paid to get her daughter's tonsils taken out. And if you don't have any money, your daughter can't get her tonsils taken out. I'm using that as an example because you'll find another way. And maybe, a big part of what's going on now is as they try to privatise our precious NHS, where that's the thing that's going to push us onto wild medicine. Prevention is going to be key. If you've been in a hospital recently visiting anybody, you will know you do not want to go there. Yes, Karen, it's such an interesting one. I'm going to do a female response to that video because I found it really interesting. I think for a lot of us in the more ethereal energy side of medicine, what struck me was they had really genuinely didn't seem to know that minerals had a key. And I was like, wow, we've been studying this for years with my teachers in Canada and in the Quest 9. This technology's been around for decades, and these our top people don't seem to be aware of it. And this is what I want to talk to you about: the energy side of the body, which is all letting go, all the stuff we do, the feelings, the electromagnetic side of the body, which is really what we focused on when we did our goddess gathering tour last year, and really expanding our perception of what the body is, because this is what holds us back. If you believe you are powerless, what are you believing? That is probably the thing that's going to take you where you don't want to go or where you want to go. And how do you know if your subconscious is holding a limiting belief? These things are key now, and trauma from the past, generational trauma. We know all this stuff, but it seems a lot of people don't know it. And that's not a bad thing. I don't know how you could possibly keep up. I'm down a rabbit hole with energy medicine, and this is why we need to collaborate. We all pull together for the greater good of people. It's not a competition. It's not a competition because I helped to heal this person. No, you didn't. The body healed itself. You may be supported, but that's really pretty much all you can do, and helped with your vibrational field to keep somebody in a place of peace rather than terror, which is what our system does with the language, with a lot of the protocols that they have really are not helpful anymore. And as more and more we realise that a lot of these drugs, all pharmaceutical drugs, are toxic on the liver, and they work on energy as well. It's just we have to understand if you're ingesting something, you will cause an effect. We know that. And is the effect, are you balancing it up? I don't know if you listened to Claire last night, that absolute genius. So connected. I'm not sure I know another being who is as connected to the land. She is the real deal, the good life. She lives, she's got her own animals, her own plants, her own medicines, all her own food. The thing is, if you live in Loch Allen, you can't get a takeaway. Which I realised the last time I was there. I was like, oh, and when the hotel's shut. So she really is so connected. And of course, it's like any relationship. The more connected you are to the energy of the planet, then the more clean and clear and trusting you are of the information you're getting. So it seems to me that, especially women, but not only women, we work much more from our intuition. And I think certainly with COVID, I know when my brother said to me, why are you so against these mandates? And I couldn't really articulate consciously why. I just had a very bad feeling about it. But most people would just be like that, take a Rennie, get rid of your bad feeling. But what we're understanding now is, in actual fact, dropping into that intuition. That's where the gold is. And obviously studying the Bible for me, and I mean, I'm just at the very, very doorstep of that, but how helpful it is to see that perspective. It's really, really helping me to navigate these mental times as I'm seeing people around me really unwell, and that how you want to go to fear, what if, and how you just stay, no, it's all unfolding perfectly, because really we're going to have to manage our emotions during this crazy time, whatever's going to be ahead. So let's look at energy. So we are an energy mass, and in an energetic universe. And I think this is somebody said to me, this young girl, she was absolutely gorgeous. And I love it when young people get it, because I think, God, I wish somebody had told me that, or I'd understood that when I was 20 or whatever. She said, well, the universe is sound. That was amazing. She said, like, what? Of course. It just like the penny dropped when you really understand. And I think even in space, they realise there's that like a low hum, that everything's maybe not held together the way we thought it was. And being willing to open your mind to all the science that we have may be outdated. And it seems to me, even with the Terence Howard stuff, that we're looking from a Newtonian physics perspective to a quantum physics perspective, which is really much less, what's the word? You can't measure that. It's not like you can't take a ruler out and make it a finite sum. So that's really, and as a mathematician, well, I've got a mathematician's brain. I like to 2 and 2 is 4. We like that clarity. That's why I was never really, I couldn't understand English or art, because it's so subjective. Whereas clearly maths and geometry and physics traditionally has been very clean and clear cut. But when you go into the quantum world, it all goes away. So let's go back to the technology. I'm going to just start with the technology that I've been using with my breathworks, which is the Insight Genius app. And I'm going to let you hear. Now, what happened at the Goddess Gathering that blew me away was this young girl, Rose Orion, came on and she sang about losing her 10-month-old son. I've, honest to God, have never been impacted like that emotionally, as was every other woman in the tent. And so, you know, the idea that sound, there's obviously sad, it's heart-wrenching for anybody to hear that they've lost a child, but when she sang, and that these frequencies are coming in your ears here, in your brain, there's a phenomenal acoustic setup of millions of little transceivers and receivers. And that's, you know, we have a speaker right in here. So that sound's coming in, and the impact it has on your body, everybody was in tears. So if you ever doubt, and I'm pretty sure you know that, music is so powerful, but we never really understood why, and now we do, because there's frequencies. And if you, with the Genius, you have solfeggio frequencies and you have nausea frequencies. And really what happens is waves. Now, there's debate as to whether this is carried on electromagnetic field wave or if there's something else. To me, it doesn't actually matter. We know that when somebody speaks, the noise comes in here and we interpret it. When somebody sings, and we only use 100% of our vocal cords when we sing, so we're designed to sing. So we know that, but what we're understanding now is, and I'm going to let you hear this for a bit, is that when you understand everything in your body has a frequency. All the parasites, the viruses, your hangovers got a frequency, your liver, your kidneys, everything, right? I don't need to labour that point, but everything is vibrating on a different level. And that's what was interesting as well when Terence was saying there's no straight lines, because what would appear to be a straight line when you go down the microscope is vibration, sound. So it's a fascinating thing. So anyway, that just makes complete sense to me. I know you can feel when you've been doing a lot of this work for a long time, you feel that you're very in touch with that vibrational aspect, and also the fact that feelings come and go. And this is a big problem nowadays, where we believe in our feelings and everybody's got to act in a way that makes us feel good, which is just never, ever going to work. You can try it if you want, but I'm telling you right now, you need to learn to manage your emotions and manage your emotional guidance system and be able to navigate and understand that's all it is, energy in motion, and you can move it. So the energy medicine is working on that field, on the energetic side of the body. So talking about the Genius, so listen to this. If you can hear this, let me know if you can hear this, Kaz. Yeah, I love it. Because I'm just like, oh, thank you. So just sit for a second. How does that feel? How does it land in your acoustic boxes, we call your ears? What can you feel? Are you allowing your body to receive? So just really feel it. And take some nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And go into that state of gratitude. the phenomenal energy mass that you are. You hear the frequencies change. Okay, that's all you're getting. So you would normally, if you're doing a one-to-one, you would, or if I make frequencies specifically for your energy system, you would put headphones on and you would absorb that energy through your ears. And this is another thing I think that's really interesting. We always think about taking the energy in through the food. And there's a brilliant documentary called Supercharged. And I think it's on Gaia. I'm not sure if it's still there, but all the other ways that we can take energy in. And we can charge these cellular batteries. Obviously, grounding is one of them because the planet is electromagnetic in nature and gives off a free flow of electrons that will travel through if you're barefoot or leather, something that energy can travel through. Plastic cuts you off from that. And it travels up the meridian system and really helps clean your drains. The trees, the energy, breathing in aromatherapy. And my friend Kirsty Morrison at Zing, she's big for that. The smells, I love the different smells as well in the forest. At the sea, you can smell the sea air. That's another way. You're bringing in iodine, and you can bring in iodine through your skin. It's transdermal. I mean, it's crazy, all the magic stuff that goes on right out there in nature. So this is really the kind of cutting edge of where we're going with frequencies. So if you're very unwell, and this is what we'll have at the Healing Oasis, there will be an energy room where you can be fed through your ears and through your body, through the skin. I don't know if you watched Claire last night talking about putting meadowsweet into the bath. Really gentle, beautiful ways of slowly feeding the body, dousing the inflammation, which is really key, reducing the level of toxicity. Because if you, and I keep using this analogy because it just seems really clear to me, if your ecosystem is short of water and fats and is too hot, the wrong pH, the wrong temperature, then that's when you imagine your bin, if it gets left, or the pond in the garden when there's been no rain, starts to smell. That's what happens to us. Exact same. So when we're gently with energy, with frequency, sound, and I'm going to talk to you as well about the amp coil, we feed the body in these different ways. Now, there's nothing woo-woo about it. It's all completely measurable. We even understand with it, these frequencies I just let you hear, we can listen to certain frequencies and we can kill parasites. So I'm going to get the guy who created the app on, and he can explain it to you much better. The proof of the pudding, of course, is how you feel. And a big issue, and I was talking to Giovanna about this yesterday, is that we're still, even although you're feeling fantastic, you're like, but do a test, give me a test to prove that I really am fantastic. And we're missing the whole point. Because if you're in this present moment and you're fantastic, then you are. You don't need somebody else to tell you, measure you, test you, but just tell me how fantastic I really am. With this constant flux of energy. Now, trust me, in the last 3 years, watching my brother, my aunt, my daughter, and how the body heals, despite the nutrition, it has really been a very eye-opening time for me. And I think ultimately what it all gets back to, which I've been banging on about, which no one person can bring to you, is the community and the altruism, and how this baby, everything works. If one eye started saying to the other, I'm better than you, I can see more than you, what kind of havoc is that going to cause inside? The cells, the cellular communities share, they work together, and that's how this body stays alive. And when you take that into the macrocosm, as above, so below, you realise our biggest challenge in Heal Scotland is this separation and the divide and conquer, which has been working really well up until now. And Kaz, I need to get back to you in that message. Sorry, hon. I'll message you after this. It's so key that we get back into our communities and start looking after the people right in front of us. Give what we can, and studying the Bible, much as I find it quite hilarious myself, has been so helpful for me to try and understand how you can be in alignment with nature, with each other, because it's easy, I think, to be in nature. I can go into the sea and go into the forest. I'm looking out right now, a spectacular view, but the biggest challenge is other humans and how we can drop judgment, drop the blaming, shaming, and complaining, because that's energy. So if you see your energy field, and this is what's like Carolyn Mace, to quote her brilliant quote, there's nothing worse than a vengeful vegetarian or vegan. You can be eating all the most organic, beautiful, biodynamic, whatever, freshly picked food, foraged. But if you're blaming, shaming, and complaining, you're completely neutralizing the chemistry within the energy system. So this is where it starts and finishes. And that's why I'm so excited about our water fast, where we're taking everything out. We're going at the ancestral stuff. You're going to be learning incredible breath works. We're going to be letting go. We're going to be in nature. We're going to strip everything back bare, and we're going to be high. And that connection and what happens when you fast, if you've never done it, is unbelievable. And there'll be a run into that. I'll be giving you ideas as to what to eat and not eat the week before, so that when you come to Barmolach, you can really experience the power, the phenomenal power. We've got the hot tubs, we've got the river, we've got the forest, we've got the amazing food, because we will be eating at the start and at the end. So yeah, it's going to be amazing, absolutely amazing. So if there's 3 places left, I think still, or maybe 2. But anyway, if you want to come, get it booked, because it's going to be one of a kind. And I'm going to be doing a lot of the science on the energy and the sounds of your organs, and how you can chant and hum. We're going to be chanting and humming, and what noises you can make to help heal your organs, because you've already got everything that you need. But left to our own devices, we're not going to do the good stuff. That's why we have to get back into communities and groups. And, even if you just get people round to your house for half an hour a week and say, right, come on, we're going to chant, we're going to hum, we're going to help our liver. That's what we have to do. Do it together. It's far more fun, and we're far more likely to do it, because giving you a lot more knowledge is absolutely pointless, because what it can end up doing is making you feel even more inferior. What am I even doing to help myself? Whereas if you can just get together like we did at the festival and laugh your heads off for about 2 hours with your pals at the stupidity of the things that we do, that's going to be your most powerful thing. So community, get to things, get out and support, take action. Now this is the super hero of PEMF. What is PEMF? Pulsed electromagnetic frequencies. It's a frequency that gets pulsed through. This is a copper ring. You can see it in there. And there's an amplifier that plays the journeys through this. So if you have a magnet, you can put the magnet on top and you will see the phenomenal power of this frequency. So I can play what I just played to you there through this and really power up the effect, turn up the bass. Boom, boom, boom. Now we all know that, again, intuitively, if you're like me, big into dance music and that, love that tribal rhythm. It feeds the body that, yes, it feels good. The minute you feel good, you're creating the right chemistry. You're taking yourself. And you don't need to be visualizing your dream, visualizing whatever, that's self-indulgent. What's about me? We need to understand now that this is a crazy times we're in. What is it for the collective? What are we doing for the good of the collective? That's what's really important. And guess what? When you start really giving back to your community, being of service, guess how you're going to feel? Amazing. when you're in alignment. And it may not seem logical to start with, but we really need to move away from, oh yeah, I want this nice shiny material thing. We're moving into this energy side where it's like, whoa, we're here at this phenomenal time. What can I do? How can I be of service? And a lot of people won't like that, let's face it. My pal said to me, see, when you said, don't be a princess, be a goddess, I was thinking, I want to be a princess. Do you? Aye, tough. Because you're going to be required to stand on your own 2 feet if you can, and to help others. I'm sorry, that's the good news. So this pulses, journeys through your body via the skin, via the vibration. And if you stand beside a speaker, I used to love it when you're right there. That's vibration. That's all it is. It's the frequency. But this, obviously, the journeys contain, you can do nutrition, you can do nervous system, you can do meditation, you can do higher self, you can also do detox. There's the frequencies of all the organs in there. So this would be part of a clear detox plan when you're healing. Because as we know, disease happens when there's too much of one thing and not enough of another. So it's deficiency and sufficiency. That's what we're looking at. Do you have enough nutrition? Is your body screaming for calories or for minerals? Because it may feel the same to you. Do you have food addictions? Carbohydrates and sugars, that's the main thing. And are you emotionally attached to certain foods? Oh, this is my wee treat. So it requires a level of honesty to heal and a level of willingness. And that's when we open our massive mothership healing oasis, you're going to be required to have ownership of your own body. Morning, Melissa. Yeah, I've even got a T-shirt with Princess scored out and Goddess. So yeah, we're having to stand in our own divine power with the masculine and the feminine, not that pathetic me. Do everything for me. I matter more than anybody else. Of course you matter, but so does everybody else. And that is the new message a lot of people will not want to hear. But yes, you do. Everybody that's listening to me knows deep down that they're here for a reason, and that there's an element of learning. We're still unpacking and unfolding the past, and the desire for control, the desire for security, the desire for approval. All of that is energetic as well. If you're like, I want control, I feel out of control. It's like, so what? Feel it. But I need to be secure. How am I going to pay the mortgage? So what? Feel it. But what will they say about me? What will they say about me? What will they think? So what? And you just allow all of that instead of grabbing a hold of it and making a big, big story up and causing all our own suffering from that. And to me, it's all starts and finishes in the mind. It's got nothing to do with the food. Sorry to say it. The food can certainly help heal the body. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But if your mind is mental and negative and needy and controlling and seeking approval, all of that negates the amazing nutrition. So we really need, but the thing is with food, we all love it, right? It's our favourite, well, it's certainly my favourite thing to do. So if we, and the mind and the subconscious and the trauma, we're like, no, just let me eat nice food. Let me do the stuff that's easy, well, easy for some, and let me avoid the darker stuff. And we can see that clearly, that we need to be aware of what's there. We have to be. And then we can process it and let it go. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to scream and shout. And we did a brilliant Osho meditation, which I'll maybe get Vida to do in the water fast retreat. It was just phenomenal. The vibration going through your body. And part of that was screaming for 10 minutes, which I don't think I've ever done in my life. It was completely brilliant and challenging, as all these things are. But are you willing to put yourself out of the comfort zone? Absolutely, you're going to have to. Because if you don't do it, and the universe will. And that's why we need the community, so we can support each other through it. I've made no bones about how difficult the last couple of months have been for me, and to the degree of thinking I need to give up Heal Scotland. And I have to visit that. What if you had to? Well, what if you had to? What's the worst that can happen? And then that actual act of going, if that has to be put aside for a bit, then it has to be. That's just as simple as that. Other people will come in. And, that's very often what has to happen. The space has to be created, because this is definitely a movement for the people, by the people. So when we're in Skye for 2 months over the winter, and we're really diving into what people want and need, and how we can help people that are willing to help themselves, because you can't come into this as a victim. You have to be aware that you're a part of it. Why do we know that? Because you're there. And that can be very painful, and a lot of resistance can come up with even that. Why am I in this? Why is this happening again to me? It's all, and that's not completely natural and normal. But we're moving into the new story, moving away from the victim perpetrator model. And when my friend was in hospital last week, I was very much, they did this, they did that, they shouldn't have. And I was like, listen to you. They. Who's they? So let's just drop that. Let's just drop that. Let's waken up. Let's do the work on ourselves. Breathe, release, rock up to these amazing events that are going on all over the world, and work on yourself, so that we absolutely have the tools to move forward in the most aligned possible way. And that might not be easy every day. And maybe you're going to have to do things you don't want to do. Sorry. But that's just the way it is. We need to man up. There'll be days, I'm sure, where people are living in Indigenous tribes and they don't want to go out and work in the field all day. But if they don't do that, they don't eat. So there's an element of, we've got so many choices now that we've become a bit soft, and we've become a wee bit self-indulgent in terms of what's right for me and what I want and all this. And that sells. What can I manifest? What can I create? Can I get my car? Can I get all of that stuff? We've been distracted with all that material stuff to the degree that we're in the level of disease, the level of mental illness. You can see quite clearly what we've been doing doesn't work. But it's changing. It's phenomenally exciting times. But that's going to require us to really anchor in, ground, and stand up. Time to rise, peeps. Anyway, enough from me. That's me. I'm going to be coming on more about the different energy modalities that we have. At the AMP coil, I'll put the links in. You can do some more research in. You're going to be able to access the AMP coil in Skye. You can access the AMP coil in Barmolloch. They have one too. And the Genius Insight app, you can go on my website and get a free trial on that. But the thing that I would say about the Genius, you still have to listen to the frequencies every day. It's a bit like take your supplements. If you're not taking them, you're not going to get the result. Simple as that. And what I found is that people aren't listening to them. Some people get it and just listen in, and they know that that's their medicine, that their body's getting fed in a different way via a different orifice. And that can be, through the nose, through the ears, and just through the skin. So, yeah, it's a very, very exciting time for energy medicine, and it does no harm. Okay. Anybody get any questions before I go? Or if you're watching this on the replay, fire your questions. I'll put a link to it. Let me just do that just now, actually. I'll put a link to my website. You can download the app. And then it's, if you want the frequencies every week because they time out, then you would, it's £20 for me to update them for you per week. So I understand that's a cost, but that it's time, and I do take it very seriously, and I'll give you very valuable feedback. But if you're not ready to change, don't do it. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will chat to you all soon. Huge love.